Here we go in Arlington, Texas. It's week 17 around the NFL, and this matchup for you today on Fox. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys. What's at stake? Well, the winner of this game wins the NFC East. Both teams are in the playoffs, and for the Eagles, if they win, they have a first-round bye. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. That is Troy Aikman. Pam Oliver is coming right up. If you ask the question, which has been asked a lot lately, who's the team to beat in the NFC with what's transpired the last few weeks, I think you could get a lot of different answers. It might very well be the Philadelphia Eagles, winners of 6 straight.
Well, yeah, I think they're the hottest team right now in the NFC, and Donovan McNabb is playing great and has had one heck of a season, and one of the reasons for that is because for the first time in a long time, he has playmakers at every position. Now, looking at today's game, how's this offensive line going to hold up? They had to shuffle the deck a little bit because of injury, but if Donovan has time to throw the ball, they feel that they can make some plays down the field.
And they'll try to do that against a Dallas defense. It's really rolling right now under the direction of Wade Phillips, who's done a nice job running that group. But for Dallas on offense, it's been Tony Romo, and they're getting more out of Tony Romo here late than they've ever gotten.
Well, for the first time, Tony Romo is hot at the right time, and he's playing as well as any quarterback in the league right now. You think of all the great plays that he has made, but it's not about the big plays that he's made as much as it is about the negative plays that he's been able to avoid. In the last 4 games, only 1 interception. I think that's going to be real key in this ball game, going up against a defensive team in the Eagles that thrive on the takeaway.
For more on the move down on the field, off we go to Pam Oliver.
Well, there is a buzz about our team. So swears Cowboys linebacker Keith Brook, and you told me before the game this is a golden opportunity for us to put a stamp on a season where we've overcome a lot. Wide receiver Miles Austin told me the theme of last night's team meeting: can't be satisfied that we are just in the playoffs. We have to take this thing by the throat. We have to want it all. Back to you, Joe.
All right, Pam. Well, Dallas won the toss, and they will receive. So with Guns N' Roses blaring over the speakers at this monstrosity in Arlington, Texas. Stadium is breathtaking with the size of it when you pull up to it outside and inside. They're calling for it to be louder than it has been for the majority of the season in a game that Wade Phillips and the Dallas Cowboys want to win and want to make up for what happened at the end of last season, week 17, when they were taken apart by the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia, that put Philly in the playoffs and put an end to the Cowboys season. Akers kicks it away. Felix Jones from inside the end zone will take a knee. Take a look at the offense, and it's an offensive line that's now playing with Doug Free out at right tackle, making his 7th straight start. But all eyes were on Tony Romo during the month of December, and he did not disappoint. 7 touchdowns, only 1 interception.
Yeah, and of course during that time they're 2-2, winners of the last 2. Of course, the win that they had a couple of weeks ago there in New Orleans against the undefeated Saints at the time is really what has propelled this team to where they are today.
Starting with a throw, and it's his favorite target, Jason Witten. That is catch number 89. Witten is the leading receiver on this Dallas Cowboys team. A 5-yard gain on first down. And for the defense, they've got a heavy rotation up front. They've got a very good secondary. It's this group right here, the linebackers, which has been in flux all year long.
Yeah, they've started 6 different guys at middle linebacker this year, and that does not include Stuart Bradley, who was their starter coming into the year, who went on IR.
Barber breaks loose. "32 yards before he's brought down by Macho Harris."
Well, good start for the Dallas Cowboys. It's just going to be a slant to the weak side. You're going to see it right off tackle, and the line does a good job. John Phillips, the tight end, in at the fullback position, lead blocks. And it has been a while since Marion Barber has had a run like that.
That's a Pro Bowler who moved too soon.
False start. Offense number 70. A 5-yard penalty It remains first down.
That's Leonard Davis, who has not disappointed since he was brought here from Arizona. He's been a Pro Bowler all 3 years he's been in a Cowboy uniform.
Yeah, that trade when they made it, or when they picked him up, it was not a trade, but when they picked him up, there were a lot of people that questioned that acquisition. He was regarded as a guy who had underachieved at Arizona, but you're right, Joe. He has been an awfully good player for this Dallas team.
Former tackle in Arizona, he has thrived at guard. On 1st and 15, delayed handoff to Marion Barber. He takes it to the 40, a gain of 8. You wonder what's been going on with Marion Barber behind this offensive line. It seems like lately he has had less burst, and he has had a tough time picking up short yardage situations. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. He's had a couple of decent runs here to start his day. Second down and 7. Romo has it batted down, and it was into the hands of Bunkley, who knocked it away. It's 3rd and 7.
And I think what's interesting, Joe, is what Sean McDermott, the first-year defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, has chosen to come out in this first possession of the ball game. Think back to the last time these two teams met. He blitzed them an awful lot. In fact, 59% of the snaps in that ball game were blitzes. So far, he has not brought the blitz. He's played relatively soft, and 3rd downs, the Philadelphia Eagles lead the NFL.
Here they come on a blitz. Romo throws, and it's incomplete. A penalty flag comes in late. Austin, the intended receiver. Sheldon Brown was on him, number 24.
Pass interference. Defense number 24. Penalizing the spot of foul and a first down.
I thought Sheldon Brown might have got a hold of the jersey as Miles Austin starts to the inside. You see the right hand right there, and sure enough, it's a good call there by the official. Sheldon Brown, who has had an excellent season. In fact, many people within the organization felt that he was worthy of earning his first Pro Bowl bid. It didn't happen. But a tough penalty once you've been able to make a stop there on a critical 3rd down play.
Brown with 5 interceptions, a career high. These two teams had 6 players each named to the Pro Bowl. Romo slips, throws, incomplete in the direction of Austin with a linebacker. Moses Foku out there in coverage at 2nd and 10.
Well, Tony Romo here has been where he's done a heck of a job, because Asante Samuel, he's going to undercut Jason Witten. They split him out. That's where Romo wanted to go with the ball. He sees the relationship there with Samuel and sees that if he turns it loose, that ball's going the other way for 6 points. He got off of it, and talk about another guy. He did earn his Pro Bowl, as you see, his 3rd one. And you can do a lot of things defensively when you've got the corners that the Eagles have.
Chill. 180.
2nd down and 10, and they run it with Marion Barber. Right side, blocker in front of him. Has a first down before he is ridden out of bounds by Akeem Jordan, a gain of 18.
Well, the real key to this right now is Dallas is getting off the line of scrimmage. We were talking about Leonard Davis. Watch him come around in the block that he's able to make on Moses Foku, which is what springs Marion Barber. Of course, then you've got Kyle Kozar, the left guard. He's also leading the way. For a big physical group that this offensive line is, they're also a very athletic group, much more so than they get credit for.
3 carries, 58 yards in this opening possession for Marion Barber. Play action, Austin down at the 10. This is a Dallas Cowboy offense that had no touchdowns on their opening possession for the first 13 games of the season. They've done it now in back-to-back games. They scored a touchdown. They did so at New Orleans, and they did so last week at Washington when Wade Phillips' defense threw a shutout in a 17-0 win.
Well, you come into this game and all the pressure was on the Dallas Cowboys, trying to prove that they could play well and win a big game like this late in the year. And this settles a lot of nerves when you're able to open up the game and go on a drive like this.
2nd down and 4, delayed handoff, Felix Jones, and it's well played by the Philly defense. Jones takes it for a gain of 1. Trent Cole was the first one there, and for Trent Cole, he's headed back to the Pro Bowl, although none of these players want to play in the Pro Bowl because the teams that will be representing each conference in the Super Bowl, those players who are Pro Bowlers won't actually participate in the game in Miami.
Yeah, and there were some that weren't real fond of playing in the Pro Bowl anyway. They like that trip to Hawaii, though.
Sounds like you're making an admission. 3rd down and 4. On 3rd down, Romo slings it. Witten, touchdown.
If you're going to play the Dallas Cowboys, especially on 3rd down, you better jam Jason Witten up at the line of scrimmage. They failed to do so, and you can see Samuel's off in coverage. He tries to come underneath it and make a play. But that is where Tony Romo is looking to go with the football most of the time in 3rd and short yardage situations. And once again, Jason Witten for the touchdown.
Witten was a leading receiver for Dallas the first time these two teams met, November 8th in Philadelphia. He has a touchdown, his first in the last 14 games and just his 2nd all year. Barber a big part of that drive. 7-0 Dallas. Cowboys took the opening possession down the field into the end zone, already have more points than they did in last year's season finale in Philadelphia when they lost 44-6, ending their season. Barber 58 rushing yards on that drive, and Witten his 2nd touchdown of the season. Don't forget that key pass interference penalty on Sheldon Brown that kept that drive alive that ended in the end zone. Beeler kicks it away. Rookie Macklin will back up and back out. Jason Witten stretched for the touchdown and then made an offensive lineman happy. Doug Free did the honors. 7-0 Dallas. 3rd time in the last 7 years that both Dallas and Philadelphia are in the playoffs the same year in what seems to be a wide open NFC. And while the Cowboys have struggled during the month of December, the Eagles have not under Andy Reid, a 32-13 record. Granted, we are playing on the 3rd of January as we close out this season. How about Deshaun Jackson, 2nd-year pro, gets it on an end around, a 6-yard gain, and the shuffling and the question mark, Troy, as we look at the backs and receivers, the quarterback McNabb, a couple of Pro Bowlers, a rookie, and Jeremy Macklin. But what happens at the center position with Nick Cole taking over for a guy who was a rock, Jamal Jackson?
Yeah, Jamal Jackson was having a heck of a season and a guy that they could count on week in and week out, and they had to work overtime this week at practice to get Nick Cole prepared for this game.
On 2nd down, the handoff is to Westbrook, and he gets nothing. Marcus Spears made the play, and the defense and the problem for the Eagles could be right there in the middle with Jay Ratliff going to his 2nd straight Pro Bowl, and now he gets to work on Nick Cole instead of Jackson.
Jay Ratliff was a real force the last time these two teams met. 2 sacks. Of course, DeMarcus Ware, one of the premier rushers in football, but Anthony Spencer, number 93, he now has come along in the last month of the season.
Out of the shotgun, McNabb is in trouble, and down he goes. Brady James gets his 2nd of the season.
They like to bring Brady James as well as Keith Brooking, and they do again here on the 1st 3rd down. Brady James coming off the edge. Donovan felt the pressure inside, tried to escape out to his left, and Brady James is just able to come in from behind and make the sack. Nowhere to go with the football down the field, Joe.
3 and out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas Cowboys, one of the hottest defenses in the NFL. Fair catch by Kraton. Ranked 12th overall as the Dallas defense for the season, but they are on some roll. James gets his second sack of the year. Cowboys up 7. Inside a stadium that seems to have its own gravitational pull and weather system. It's 7-0. The Cowboys on top. 9:04 left in the first quarter, and the Cowboys start at their own 31. Pass is caught by Phillips. The guy who started the season as the third-string tight end, seemingly Troy well behind Witten and Bennett, has been getting more and more action, while Martellus Bennett, and he has suffered with injury during the course of the season, but he's made relatively no mark on this offense in 2009.
Which is really somewhat surprising, because I know coming out of training camp, coming into the year, they really felt that they were going to get great contributions out of Martellus Bennett, a very athletic guy. But John Phillips has stepped in, not so much as a receiver. That was just his 6th reception of the year. But more importantly, he's been a good blocker for them in their 2 tight end packages.
2nd down and 3. Handoff is to Felix Jones. Shows his speed. To the 49. We go for a game break. Here's Curt Menefee.
And a game of first. Kansas City's first quarter touchdown of the year is Mike Cox's first NFL touchdown. The undrafted kid out of Georgia Tech gives the Chiefs a 7-0 lead over Denver in a game the Broncos must win in order to have any chance at the postseason. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
Todd Haley, the head coach, he used to coach the receivers here with the Dallas Cowboys, and the Denver Broncos are playing without Eddie Royal, and they benched Brandon Marshall, who has over 100 catches on the season. Here's Felix Jones again, running right through this Philadelphia defense, a gain of 8.
Well, anytime you've got the safety as the guy who's having to come up and make a play, then that bodes pretty well for the offense. You're going to see Sean Jones right here, number 26. He's the guy who's going to drop in. But when he's the guy who's the first line of defense to make the tackle, then you're picking up some pretty good yardage. I don't think Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator, is going to sit here much longer and just play soft. I would expect him to start bringing some pressure here real quick.
That's Bennett in motion, 2nd and 2. That's Felix Jones making a move and getting a first down to Philly 40. Will Witherspoon, who started the season in St. Louis, out there to make the stop.
You know, it's a little bit like what happened a few weeks ago when they were playing the New Orleans Saints. You know, they went right down the field on their first possession. They got the touchdown. The Saints, as we all know, the #1 offense in all of football. The Cowboys defense forced the 3 and out. Cowboys went right back down, made it 14-0 in no time flat, and they're marching here for their 2nd score.
First down at the Philadelphia 40. And movement at the line of false start.
False start. Offense number 80. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
You know, both these teams, Joe, coming into the season, typically you don't have teams that are heavily penalized that are playing that well or that are going into the postseason play, and yet these 2 teams, 2 of the most penalized teams in football, are obviously in postseason play, and we'll begin that next week. But penalties like this, especially in a big game, certainly hurt your ball club.
First down and 15, delayed handoff. It's Felix Jones again to the 39. Felix Jones, for the first time in his career, has had 3 straight games of 10 or more carries. So while typically it's been Marion Barber as the feature back here with some Tashard Choice sprinkled in, we're seeing more and more of Felix Jones, who's getting healthier and healthier coming off that knee sprain as the season wears on.
Yeah, and Felix Jones actually has run the ball pretty well here in recent weeks. He hasn't had the big 30-40 yard gains like people had gotten used to seeing from him earlier in the year.
Again, somebody loses a helmet. Felix Jones takes it to the 35 to bring up 3rd and 5, a gain of 4.
I just think right now, when you look at Philadelphia along that defensive front compared to the Cowboys offensive line, they're an undersized group. And Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator, has done a good job here in the early going of being balanced. And oftentimes Jason Garrett has been criticized for getting away from the run early, especially early in games. and throwing the ball too often, but he has remained balanced here in this one.
Third down and 5, a roll to the right, and there's Miles Austin, who sits down with a first down for Dallas.
Well, that's the guy that Sean McDermott is most concerned about, is Miles Austin. He's been on an absolute tear. Watch the hands at the top of this route. A ball that's up high, and knowing that he's got a linebacker coming underneath in a position to make a hit on him, and yet he extends himself and brings it in. Strong hands and an excellent route runner.
I'll tell you what's strong on him, watching him warm up prior to the game. He's got big legs. He's a wide receiver, but he is put together.
Yeah, he's the total package. I mean, as far as speed, quickness, size, run after the catch, he can do it all.
Strength. First down, Marion Barber back into the action. And he's brought down by Cole after a gain of 3. When we talked to Sean McDermott, he did talk about Miles Austin, who's a Pro Bowler. He started this season as the 3rd receiver behind Roy Williams and Patrick Kraton. Now he's a Pro Bowler. First 41 games, 23 catches, 435 yards, 4 touchdowns. First start at Kansas City in October. 10 for 250, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. Sean McDermott did not even mention Roy Williams. Wasn't in the conversation. Mentioned Kraton before he talked about Roy Williams. Romo throws, and there's Austin again. Sets up a 1st and goal at the 9. Gain of 11.
Well, they bring the blitz off the edge, and then away from that, they've got to then drop a defensive lineman. Jason Babin, 94, becomes that guy. You're going to see him. He's going to drop, trying to get in the zone. And when you get locked up like that, you can tell how lost he is, because then Miles Austin becomes the guy who hits that area of the field. Macho Harris blitzed from the opposite side, and that's the zone blitz that you hear so much about.
Here's where Roy Williams should be a weapon with his size. Delayed handoff. It's Barber. Marion Barber picks up 2.
You know, you talk about, not talking about Roy Williams or not mentioning Roy Williams and why they're so concerned about Miles Austin when you consider where Tony Romo likes to go with the football, and then the completion percentages that accompany that. 71% of the time the ball is thrown to Jason Witten, he catches it. And you see way down at the bottom there, Roy Williams, only 45% of the time does he come down with the ball when they throw it in his direction.
2nd and goal. Romo has time. That's Barber, loses the football, incomplete, and Witherspoon was right in his face. 3rd down and goal.
Well, already with the Eagles, they like to rotate guys up front, as you said, Joe, and they have been rotating a number of defensive linemen throughout this series, trying to get guys some rest, trying to keep them fresh, especially on passing downs, so that they can apply some pressure on Tony Romo.
12th play of this drive. Romo steps up, batted into the air, and picked off. Exactly what Philadelphia needed. Joselio Hansen comes away with the interception, and it was Asante Samuel who knocked it into the air. A lift for the Eagles, a turnover on a tipped ball out of the hand of Tony Romo. Samuel made the play, Hansen with the interception. Well, for Tony Romo, just his 2nd interception in the last 6 games. For the Eagles, their 25th interception of the season. We'll take you back and show you what happened as the Eagles start with it at their own 14. A screen, and LaShawn McCoy just fell down, and a loss of 4 yards. Back to the pick.
Yeah, you're going to see the Cowboys go trips here. Tony recognizes pressure off this side. He directs the line, but look right here. He's got one-on-one on the backside with Roy Williams, but he never looks that way. Instead, he plays front side, and Asante Samuel jumps this route. There's the route by Roy Williams. He fails to get off the press coverage. But Asante Samuel, who we have seen jump routes already here in this first half, jumps another one, which led to the interception.
2nd and 14, and the pass is caught by Macklin. And here's the interception, and it's Samuel. Did you say who got his hands on the football?
You can see Samuel right here on the inside, and he just jumps right underneath Patrick Kraton as he was running the angle route and gets the ball up in the air, and then Hanson's able to make the play. But a big stop right there defensively for the Eagles and not giving up any points.
This is an Eagles team that's plus 16 in the turnover ratio, second best in the NFL. 3rd and 7. McNabb with all day, now flushed out, throws and hits his tight end. That's Selleck. And for all the talk of Deshaun Jackson, the rookie Macklin, it's Brent Selleck who leads this team in receptions. That's number 7.
And the reason is the Cowboys go 2-man, 2 deep with man underneath, and it's very difficult then to beat that as a wide receiver. But the guy they're not accounting for is the quarterback. They had Bobby Carpenter in a spy technique. As soon as he came up to take McNabb, they're able to then get the ball to Selleck for the first down.
The Eagles can let the clock expire on the first quarter if they wish. And they do. So that's it for the first quarter here in Arlington. 7-0. The Cowboys lead it. The NFL on Fox will continue after a word from your local Fox station. We look at the ball control numbers. The Dallas Cowboys came into this game having allowed just 27 first quarter points, the fewest in the NFL. That continues. The Eagles had scored the most first quarter points at 122. They just got their first down in the last play of the first quarter. And so on 1st and 10, McNabb throws to Selleck, and he is hit by Brady James after a gain of 2.
Well, that didn't fool anybody. They tried a little misdirection. They were able to run it on the first play of the game with the reverse and try to get Dallas over committing. They've got some size, but they're also a fast athletic group on the defensive side of the ball, and they try to come out with a naked boot, and Brady James was right there to make the play.
So 2nd down and 8. McNabb with good protection down the field for his home run hitter Deshaun Jackson. He overthrew him. Deshaun Jackson has emerged as maybe the biggest big play threat in the league, and he was open.
Yeah, you can see Hamlin, he overplays the top, and it opens up the middle then for Deshaun Jackson to pierce right through the middle of it. And you know, that's their first chance that they've taken down the field. There will be many others before this day is over. But that was a golden opportunity for Donovan McNabb. He had Jackson open, and he had time in the pocket to deliver a better ball.
Third down and 8. Blitz coming from Dallas. McNabb throws for Selleck. Another big catch for Brent Selleck, who has a first down at the Dallas 41. 22 yards on third down.
And you got to protect against DeMarcus Ware in this pass rush. Jason Peters, going to the Pro Bowl, does a good job on him. But Brent Selleck, you know, what a year he has had. Excellent route at the top of that route by him. He starts him to the outside, comes underneath Carpenter. And when you're locked up man-to-man and you fail then to make the play, there's nobody else there to get to him until he's picked up quite a bit more yards.
Brent Selleck wasn't even invited to the NFL scouting combine, has really taken off here in 2009 as Leonard Weaver, a first-time Pro Bowler, carries for a gain of 2. Selleck, who had a big first half last week in the win, which became a nail-biter at home over the Denver Broncos, has had a good start to this one here against Dallas.
Well, we talked about it coming in as the Eagles go to no huddle. But you know, when you talk about the Eagles offensively, they have playmakers at every position on the field. And it has been a while since we've been able to say that.
2nd and 8. Pass broken up by Jenkins. Andy Reid called Mike Jenkins a guy who might be one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, as he has really elevated his game in his second year out of South Florida.
He's been outstanding. He had a disappointing rookie year, but he came back. He matured a lot in the offseason. He spent a great deal of time working on his game, and he has been the best corner for this Dallas defense. I know that. And there's many that thought that he was worthy of a bid to the Pro Bowl.
3rd down and 8. Penalty flags fly, and it's going to be against Dallas, and it'll turn it to a 3rd and 3.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 94 moving into the neutral zone, caused the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
This was one of the concerns coming into the game. You're going to see Nick Cole at center here, and he's going to direct the offensive line. He's telling them where the pressure's coming from and where they need to get to, and then you got to worry about snap counts and everything else, and everything's a little bit different. The mechanics of getting the ball snapped and the play off and running, and at the end of last week's ball game against Denver, it was an issue, and it has been a little bit of an issue here in this game already.
3rd down and 3 now. Eagles just gave the 5 yards back. Jason Peters.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Quick game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Simplest playoff scenario of the afternoon. The Ravens win. They are in. They're looking good early against the Oakland Raiders. Ray Rice, 27 yards. Set up a 2-yard Willis McGahee touchdown. And Baltimore's on top. 7-0 in the first quarter. Joe, Troy, and Pan.
All right, Kurt, we'll keep an eye on that. 3rd down and 8. Again here in Texas.
I got DeMarcus Ware moving all over. He's coming now off the defensive right.
McNabb throws, and Macklin can't make the catch. It was behind him on his back shoulder. He was wide open, and it's 4th and 8.
Yeah, wide open, just a busted coverage there in the Dallas secondary, and there was nobody within 20 yards of Jeremy Macklin. A ball that, could have been in front of him, but a ball that Jeremy Macklin should be able to make. That's 2 opportunities now that Philadelphia has failed to cash in on. The deep ball to Deshaun Jackson, and then that one, which would have at least resulted in a 1st down, maybe even a touchdown.
So now Sam Rocca will punt it. And they're missing somebody on their punt team. If they throw the flag, the Eagles probably wouldn't care anyway for delay of game. Play clock was down to 0.
Timeout. Philadelphia. They're first.
I mean, that to me is a wasted timeout. If they take the penalty of 5 yards, it's not that big of a deal. The ball's at the 39. A punt when we come back. Going to break, we could see Ted Dasher, the special teams coordinator, saying, "My fault, my fault." I think anytime you see a play clock expiring, you panic and call timeout. That was a spot where they didn't need to.
I couldn't agree more, Joe. That was not an area of the field where they really needed to burn a timeout.
Here's a punt that goes into the end zone anyway after the timeout. Penalty flag was thrown. And it's a hold against Dallas. Missed opportunity for that Philadelphia offense on the miss by Macklin on 3rd down.
During the kick, holding number 32 of the receiving team. Penalized half the distance to the goal from the 21-yard or the 20-yard line. 1st down.
Here is that Macklin miss. It's what put the brakes on that last drive for the Eagles. Cowboys have the football at their own 10, up by 7. Philly defense number 2 in the NFL in takeaways. They have 38. They got one the last time they were out on the field on an interception by Hansen, his 2nd of the year. And so Dallas starts at their own 10, up by 7. Hand off to Felix Jones. And Felix picks up 3. The Bowl Bash continues tomorrow on Fox with the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl between Boise State and TCU, and concludes on Tuesday with a FedEx Orange Bowl between Iowa and Georgia Tech. The Bowl Bash continues tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And only on Fox.
I'm sorry, Joe. Houston Nutt, head coach of Ole Miss, big win yesterday here at the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma State. Enjoying the afternoon.
2nd down and 7. On 2nd and 7, Witten is wide open in the middle of the field for a Dallas first down. Gain of 9.
I don't quite understand why Jason Witten has been as open as he has been. I mean, you're going to see him. He's just working a crossing route, and the linebackers just fail to pick him up. You know, he's a very difficult guy to cover, because if you play him man-to-man, he's going to beat whoever it is that's covering him, whether it's a linebacker or a safety. Oftentimes, they'll put a corner on him. We've seen Samuel on him already today. And then in zone, he's as good as any in the league in finding the holes. And he and Tony have a special rapport between the two, and they don't misconnect on many.
Witten's up to 91 catches on the season, and penalty flags prior to the snap. Ron Winter is the referee here this afternoon.
False start. Illegal snap. Number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That is 3 false starts against the Dallas Cowboys playing at home here this afternoon, and they get Gerard.
You can understand it. Andre Gerard right here in the middle. You know, he just starts rocking back just enough, and enough for them to call a false start, and rightfully so. You can understand it with Nick Cole, of course, making his first start at center and the crowd noise, but no excuse for this Cowboy offensive line.
On 1st and 15, Romo throws. Patrick Kraton is wide open and knocked down as he crossed the 45. They'll mark him at the 47, a 30-yard catch and run.
So far, Philadelphia just has not been able to harass Tony Romo within the pocket. He's been given quite a bit of time to sit back there and find his receivers. There's been very few blitzes coming off the corner with free rushers. As you see there, just a 4-man rush playing zone behind it. You know, I thought it was interesting in talking with Tony Romo just the other day. He said, I don't think teams can hold up against us playing zone, because it's just too easy in today's game to pick those apart when you've got good receivers to get the ball to.
Here's Felix Jones around the left end, showing more of his speed. A flag is down at the 47-yard line. A 24-yard run. Will it come back? Looks like it'll hold against Dallas.
Holding. Offense number 34. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So they get the fullback, Deion Anderson.
See if we can see the hole. Deion Anderson right there. He's engaged on Moses Foku. You get a big play like that down the field and it gets called back. We've seen a number of penalties right now on both teams, but Dallas right now, I think if you're Philadelphia, you'd say you don't mind so much if they're running the football. I know the late Jim Johnson, he was never concerned about rushing yardage. He just didn't want to give up big plays, but the Cowboys have gotten some big plays in the running game. Of course, this past one just coming back.
1st and 20. Here's Marion Barber, and he spins his way to the 40, picked up 3. It's been Felix Jones more of late. Barber early on that first drive. Dixon made the tackle for the Eagles on that carry. And it's 2nd and 17 with the Dallas Cowboys up 7-0.
I mean, going back to the last time these two teams played, the Eagles defensively held the Cowboys to only 76 yards rushing. And already in this half, they're well over that.
99 to be exact on 12 carries. Four-man rush. Romo has all day, and Austin fights for the ball, continues down the sideline, and has a first down at the 20.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a premier pass rusher as well, and Trent Cole, and Flozell Adams assigned the duty of slowing him down, and he does a good job there on the backside for Romo. And you know, Samuel once again tries to make a play on this ball, and if you don't make it, and it's Miles Austin then who is on the receiving end, you're going to have a hard time getting him to the ground. Samuel comes back, tries to get at his ankles, and they were fortunate that that one didn't go for a touchdown.
Well, that one went for 40. You could see the strength of Miles Austin, and there's no Pro Bowl jinx on Austin as he gets it again. He had only one catch at Philly in November. And the umpire, you could hear his microphone was right in the middle on that tackle at the 15-yard line.
He's on the ground, and that gives you a pretty good idea of the collisions. Oftentimes our viewers at home, they don't get a chance to really understand or appreciate the impact of these hits. That and he got his shirt. He looks like some dogs got after him or something there at the bottom of that pile.
Bill Schuster is the umpire. That doesn't sound like much fun.
No, it's not. I can tell you it's not.
Second down and 5.
If you don't think so, just ask the umpire.
Delayed handoff again to Barber. And he gets it just inside the 15. Third down coming up with 7 minutes to go in the first half here in Arlington.
Well, this is an interesting possession right here defensively for the Philadelphia Eagles. The last time the Cowboys got down here in this position, in this part of the field, you know, they were able to get the interception, and now just looking for a key stop here on third down.
Eagles don't jump on third down and 4. Timeout Dallas with 6:25 left in the half. Third down for the Cowboys when we come back. What's at stake? Do you remember? It's the NFC East division title. And for the Eagles, they have the opportunity with a win here today to be the number 2 seed and get a first round bye. There's Austin on third and 4. Pump fake, wide open, Kraton, touchdown.
Joe, they run a high-low on corner Sheldon Brown. They run Roy Williams into the flat. You can see him here, and then they put Patrick Kraton in behind him, and Sheldon Brown gets caught peeking inside at Tony Romo. Romo uses his shoulders and moves defenders about as well as anybody in football and got Brown to bite. Remember, it was Sheldon Brown in the first meeting in a 13-13 tie in the fourth quarter. He bid on a double move slant route that led to the touchdown to Miles Austin then.
14-0 Dallas. Here's the shoulder fake. Then the touchdown throw. Wade Phillips' team up 14 on Philly. 14-0 Dallas. Kraton got the last score for the Cowboys. And as we welcome you back inside our booth, Joe and Troy, and Philly's got to find an answer here fast.
Well, they sure do. And I think defensively, you know, they've got to start bringing some pressure. They just have not called up many blitzes. It really surprises me considering how much they like to blitz and how much they blitzed the first time these two teams met. And this is an important drive right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, down 14-0. It could be worse than what it is. 6 minutes to go here in the second half, or in the second quarter. But I think this is a real critical possession offensively for this Eagles team.
Remember, the Eagles have a red zone interception, which avoided more points put on the board by Dallas as Beeler kicks it away. Macklin on the return from the 2. Jeremy Macklin Can't make the 20. Knocked out at the 19 by Sensabaugh, just a 17-yard return. And so now Donovan McNabb, who in the first matchup against Dallas on November 8th threw for 227 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and had a season-low quarterback rating of 61.4. Trying to figure out a way to move the ball on the Cowboys, who were coming off a shutout at the Redskins. First shutout for Dallas in 98 games after they had held San Diego and New Orleans to a season low in points over 6 days. So this defense for the Cowboys is rolling at the right time. McNabb over the middle, wide open for a catch is Macklin. He's to midfield.
Well, Dallas was really confused defensively in getting lined up. Keith Brooking was trying to direct everybody, and nobody seemed to know exactly where they needed to go. You see it right here, Bobby Carpenter, and then as well as Orlando Scandrick, and then the ball is snapped, and then you've got a free receiver running right down the middle of the field.
McNabb found him for 31 yards. Here's Westbrook. Westbrook, who has missed 8 games, dealing with post-concussion syndrome. He had 2 within 20 days. That nasty one at Washington. Now players down for Philadelphia. When Westbrook was literally knocked out, that's Winston Justice, the right tackle. Talk more about Westbrook, and the clock is stopped. The Eagles will have a new right tackle when we come back. 2nd and 6. Justice appears to be fine. He is out for probably just the 1 play, and here's how he was injured.
You know, he comes off the ball and then he goes low, just trying to make a cut block there on the backside. Everything's fine right there, but it's at the end of the play when Westbrook comes over the top of him that he kind of lands there on the back of his ankle. And you know, now they weaken 2 positions. They move Harriman's out and they bring in Stacey Andrews at guard.
Middle hits Deshaun Jackson. Jackson is down inside the 20, out of bounds at the 14-yard line. A 32-yard catch and run for the electrifying Deshaun Jackson.
And the first thing that they do is they want to test out that offensive line. Dallas does. You're going to see here they're going to test the A gaps and see if those inside guys, Stacey Andrews coming off the bench, can communicate it and block it up. But Donovan has enough time then to get the ball to Deshaun Jackson. They're in man coverage underneath. And just an excellent job there.
18th catch of the season of 20 or more yards for Jackson. Winston Justice back in the lineup as McNabb lost the snap. Remember, a new center, and Dallas takes over. Ratliff comes away with a football.
No, it didn't even look to me like McNabb was anticipating the snap. I mean, that he was expecting it to be hiked when it was.
Just the simple parts of the game, whether it's the quarterback center exchange or out of the shotgun. New center Nick Cole, Jamal Jackson is out, and McNabb just dropped it.
Yeah, McNabb clearly was anticipating the ball to be snapped, and it was a little bit low, but looked like Donovan might have taken his eyes off it just at the time that the ball was hitting his hands and failed to secure it. Not a great snap, but one that McNabb could have handled.
And for Ratliff, his 4th fumble recovery of the season, which would tie him for the top spot in the NFL. And now each team has a red zone turnover in this game, and Dallas up 14. Takes over at their own 20. Romo underneath. That's Phillips again. And as Phillips is knocked down by Witherspoon, Phillips has a 7-yard gain.
You know, I know coming into this game and visiting with Sean McDermott, he was very concerned about Miles Austin. And he was concerned about the big play ability of him, and so he knew that they had to mix things up. Couldn't get locked in just playing man coverage, couldn't just press all the time, had to play some zone, had to mix in some blitzes. But I am really surprised that we have not seen the Eagles blitz more than they have. It's been predominantly a 4-man rush that has not gotten close to Tony Romo.
Here's Barber. Barber picks up a yard. 3rd and short coming up for Dallas, and Philadelphia needs a stop here. get the ball back and get something on the board before the half. It's been a Dallas offense that's put together 3 long drives, one of 9 plays, one of 12, the other of 8. And it's 3rd down here. Romo throws and hits Kraton in stride. Down in midfield with another Cowboy first down.
You know, so they're coming with a 4-man rush. It's not getting to Romo, and then they're not jamming any of these receivers coming off the line of scrimmage. Hansen is playing outside technique, which then opens the gate for the slant route. The only guy then that can take that away in a zone coverage is a linebacker, and on a 3-step drop, that's just not going to happen. And so you get the ball to Patrick Kraton inside, and nobody's able to make the play until he gets on the safety level.
So now for Patrick Kraton, 3 catches, 67 yards, a touchdown. And this Cowboy team's already put up 283 on Philly. Here's Ogletree overthrown. Penalty flag down on the field anyway at midfield. Check the call from Ron Winter.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, contact to the head of the quarterback, 15 yards and a first down. Number 53, defense.
So they get Foku. They don't. Dallas doesn't get the bomb to Ogletree, but they get 15 yards and another first down.
Yeah, this time they did bring the linebacker blitzes, and that's why Foku was in position, and he gets the hand there on the face mask of Tony Romo, and it doesn't take much, as we all know. They protect the quarterbacks awfully well. And the Cowboys trying to get the ball to Kevin Ogletree, a guy who's been used more here recently, and one of those players who's really emerged with tremendous speed on the outside.
On first down, handoff to Jones over the right side, and he's to the 31-yard line. Jeremiah Trotter, who was brought out of retirement on a 1-year deal September 29th, is in there to make the stop as we approach the 2-minute warning. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Each team has 2 timeouts left, and we'll take a break. The ball is at the Philadelphia 31 for the Cowboys, who have put together a very good first half, up 14. We keep talking about the opportunity Philadelphia has if they win here against the Cowboys. They're the number 2 seed in a first-round bye. If Dallas wins, Dallas, with what's going on in the desert with Green Bay beating Arizona, the Cowboys would jump up to a number 3 seed if that score holds. And Philadelphia would go from a possible first-round bye to the number 6 seed in the NFC. Here's a screen for Miles Austin. Austin picks up 5, and we go to Kurt for a game break.
Well, you talked about it. Another playoff rematch for sure next week. Arizona and Green Bay. Green Bay feeling pretty good about themselves. Charles Woodson's 9th interception ties for the league lead, picking off Matt Leinart and running it back for his 3rd touchdown. Is 26-0 Packers on top in Arizona in the 2nd quarter. Those same 2 teams will play again next week, no matter the outcome of today's games. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt. 3rd down and 2. Here's one for Roy Williams, and he and Romo are not on the same page. I mean, this is devolving into something that's really embarrassing between Romo and Williams, to the point that Williams is on the wrong page. He tipped the ball for an interception last week. 2 catches the last 2 games. He was brought here to be the big weapon, and he just simply is not.
Well, yeah, and then you wonder where this team would have been if Miles Austin hadn't have emerged the way that he did. And that didn't happen until week 5 against Kansas City. And the Cowboys struggled moving the football up until that time. And you're going to see Roy Williams takes an inside release. And
here's Sweezum. 2nd week as a Cowboy, and he just drilled a 44-yarder. With 1:04 remaining to make it 17-0, and that puts a half smile on the face of Wade Phillips. But back to that third down play, and Roy Williams with the ball thrown his way.
Well, Tony's under pressure, and so he's got to get the ball out, and they're running a little slant and go, trying the same route that Miles Austin ran against Sheldon Brown before. But once Roy started to go to the outside, that's where Tony Romo expected him to stay, and so he threw it up trying to give him a chance. I don't think they would have gotten a play anyway, but you know, those are some of the little things within a route that can sometimes throw a quarterback off.
24 games now, the 25th game with the Dallas Cowboys for Roy Williams. He has 57 catches total. And as I mentioned, 2 catches now over basically the last 2.5 games. And he was critical of himself this week, saying, I don't know how they can have confidence in me. Talking mainly about Tony Romo and certainly Jason Garrett. He's got to work hard to regain that confidence. Well, that's not happened so far in the first half.
Well, it hasn't happened, and it hasn't happened up to this point. It likely won't happen, if at all, until next year. And you know, I appreciate the fact that Roy Williams has taken ownership and says it's on him, and it's been a tough year for him, and we all know that. A lot was expected and little was delivered.
Beeler hits it, and it's yet another touchback. 2 in this game. 27 on the season. Missed opportunities for Philadelphia, certainly on this one, with Deshaun Jackson wide open down the middle of the field. Then a third down play, ball a little behind Macklin, but it went right through his hands. And then a fumbled snap out of the shotgun, new center and all, but a red zone turnover, and the Cowboys took that and turned it into 3 points.
Well, and you know, the Cowboys also had their red zone turnover as well with Tony Romo's interception, but you know, I think Jeremy Macklin probably scores a touchdown on that ball if he catches it. So you're talking about what could have been and should have been probably 17 points. The 2 touchdowns, Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Macklin, and then at least a field goal on the fumbled snap.
Eagles with 2 timeouts left. They have got to get something going here at the end of the half. Plenty of time, and the pass is dropped. Incomplete. Deshaun Jackson bobbled it, and then it hit the ground. 2nd and 10 with 55 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, it's interesting coming into this game, Joe. I talked about the things that I thought were important for the Philadelphia Eagles to have success, and they had to be able to give Donovan McNabb time to throw the football, and if they did that, you know, it looked like they could take advantage of some things down the field to the playmakers on the outside. He has had time to throw the ball. They just failed to connect and complete some of these passes, and then they needed to get a takeaway, and they were able to do that also defensively.
Ware coming off the edge, doesn't get there as Selleck makes the catch, and he's wrestled down with a first down, and a penalty flag is thrown as Jenkins was out on the edge and on the boundary with Jason Peters.
Looked to me like the Cowboys are signaling that this is going to go against the Eagles.
I think Peters did something to Jenkins when the 2 got out of bounds over near Andy Reid. It's a 14-yard catch and run by Selleck, could be wiped away.
The play was over. Personal foul. Offense number 71. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Here's Jason Peters and then Mike Jenkins at the end of this play, and you know, the Eagles have just done some really dumb things in this ball game, and Jason Peters knows where he's at on the field after this. Initially, the initial contact there was no penalty there, but Peters continually goes after him well after Jenkins is out of bounds.
So that moves the ball back to the 19-yard line. And now 47 seconds remain in the half. 17-0 Dallas. Over the middle, it's Avant, and he's smacked by Sensabaugh.
The Eagles still have 2 timeouts, and they elect here to keep the clock running.
They're wasting a ton of time.
Yeah, if it's going to take them this long, and then they ultimately wind up stopping the clock, but if it's going to take them that long to get a play called, then they would have been better off using one of those timeouts that they had left.
28 seconds remain now. 1 timeout left on the board for Philadelphia. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats. So they put a couple more seconds on. 30 seconds remain, and the ball is at the 27. Second down for Philadelphia, and they are shut out. And there's a look at Roy Williams, who's wondering if it will ever turn around for him here in Dallas, with not only a new deal signed with the Cowboys, but a lot of picks went to the Detroit Lions to get Roy Williams, a Texas product, into a Cowboy uniform, and it just simply has not worked out.
Well, it hasn't worked. And then you think about the situation in Arizona. You know, Anquan Boldin was on the trading blocks, and no one would offer the Cardinals a first and a third, which was given by the Cowboys to the Lions for Roy Williams. And so in a lot of ways, I guess Anquan Boldin can thank or not thank Roy Williams and the Dallas Cowboys for what they gave up and why he's still in Arizona.
Second down and 2. McNabb hits Jackson, and Jackson drops it. Skandrick was coming to make the hit for Dallas. It's now 3rd down and 2. And you can see the frustration all over the face and in the body language of Donovan McNabb.
And this isn't what any of us expected to see out of the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, this is a team that over the years has played well in these types of games. Not only played well, but has won most of them. And they came out here in this first half and they've just not played the way that we have expected them to play in these types of games.
It's 3rd down and 2. There's Selleck for a first down, and the Eagles should spend their last timeout, and they do. 21 seconds left. 10-yard catch by Selleck, who's been the one guy that McNabb's been able to lean on here against the Cowboys in this game.
Well, what a great find he was in the 5th round. And you think about it, it's been a while since they've had that kind of production at the tight end position, probably going back to when they had Chad Lewis. And you know, it's amazing that just a few years ago that everyone came into the game knowing, hey, we got to just slow down Brian Westbrook, and they moved him in a lot of different positions. And you know, if you could shut him down, then you could pretty much shut down the Philadelphia Eagles. And as I said earlier, I mean, they've got some outstanding young players. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to be around a while, especially with what they have on the offensive side of the ball.
They started this season as the 2nd youngest team age-wise in the NFL. Underneath, it's Westbrook. Westbrook, who was one of the most dangerous running backs in the league in 06 and 07, gets 6 yards. Brian Westbrook was number 1 in receptions and receiving yards for a running back, number 4 in rush yards. He's a good blocker. You could put him anywhere on the field. He was a defensive coordinator's nightmare as a matchup problem. But he is no longer the feature in this offense at this time. 2nd down for Philadelphia. Pass is caught by Westbrook, and Westbrook stays in bounds, and that's the end of the half.
I was expecting Donovan to take one shot down the field and see if maybe they couldn't steal one. But once he got tackled in bounds, it was over.
How about the Cowboys? 291 yards of offense and a 17-0 shutout after a half. NFL on Fox will continue after this from your local Fox station. Take a look at the first half stats and the total yards. 291 total yards put up on the Philadelphia defense by Dallas. 10 red zone plays run by the Cowboys compared to 1, and that didn't go well. It was a fumble on a snap in the shotgun by McNabb, and so now Philadelphia needs a jolt here to start the second half to climb back in it, down 17. Beeler kicks it away. Macklin will take a knee, and we go down to the field, and Ham Oliver.
Well, Joe, a very livid Brian Westbrook gathered up the offense right before that half ended and demanded that each player take pride in their job. He said, stress nothing else but to do your own job. Meantime, after his defense pitched that shutout, Wade Phillips told me at halftime how that happened. I said, what worked? He said, we just played really, really tough. We have to continue that in the second half, given Philly's big playability on offense. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and that is what Philadelphia brings. You see number 10 going out to the left. Deshaun Jackson, he's the home run hitter. McNabb can get the time so far. He's been pretty well protected, Donovan McNabb. From the 20 on first down, the pass is caught by Macklin. And the rookie out of Missouri gets 9.
Well, I think if you look at the first half there, Philadelphia offensively and Donovan McNabb, I mean, Donovan, for the most part, threw the ball pretty well. And that's a pretty good blow right there. We'll find out what is wrong there with Terrence Newman, but now they're going to obviously have to bring someone else in, and how they're able to hold up, because Donovan McNabb, you know, as I was saying earlier, he's had some time. I mean, the real concern coming in was how would this offensive line protect him, and I think they've done an admirable job there in the first 30 minutes of this game.
Allen ball comes in for Terrence Newman. 2nd and 1. And the handoff for a first down to Westbrook. Well, Andy Reid, Troy, said as much. He said this game will depend on how our reshuffled offensive line handles the front 7 of the Dallas Cowboys. I would say so far that really hasn't been a problem.
No, it hasn't, and Donovan, his numbers look good, and they just have not been able to stop the Cowboys defensively. Every time the Dallas Cowboys got the ball, they moved it right down. The only time they stopped them is when they got the interception. Every other drive, the Cowboys got points, and then they just failed to capitalize on the opportunities that they got on their own side of the ball.
Blitz coming from Dallas. Brooking does not get home, and the pass is complete to Selleck. And Brent Selleck has a first down inside Dallas territory to the 42, a gain of 25.
We've seen Brent Selleck already do some good things in this ball game, and you're going to see him right here at tight end. He comes off the ball. He just stays in the seam. That's one of the things that they're able to do with him, because he has great speed and he's able to threaten defenses. He does a good job once he got off the line of widening it out a little bit and keeping himself with some separation from the middle safety. I've been thoroughly impressed with what I've seen of Brent Selleck this year.
McNabb down the field and tipped incomplete, and Hamlin gets up looking for a flag. Hamlin had the best position, and Jackson was there to help fight off an interception.
Well, they got the one-on-one matchup. They get Jackson up on the safety. This is the deep post that they missed on earlier in the game, and Jackson goes in behind Hamlin, and that threw off Donovan McNabb, because when he sees that relationship, he thinks Jackson's going to stay in front, and then that means he's taking a flatter angle. And you see Donovan there signaling that to him, thinking you're going to take a flatter angle, but once he went behind, then it put Hamlin in a perfect position to make the interception.
Now on 2nd down, handoff is to Westbrook. Westbrook brought down by Allen Ball, who's played some safety. Now he's playing in place of the injured Newman, a gain of 8. And it'll be 3rd down and 2.
That's one of the reasons why this has been such an outstanding season for Donovan McNabb, because in addition to the way he has played, he has had to do it with a different cast of players, a young cast of players, and he's done an excellent job of bringing them along. It hasn't all gone well here today, but for most part this year, he has been very good in bringing them along.
3rd down and 2. McNabb over the middle, incomplete for Selleck. Sends the ball in the middle of it for Dallas.
And you can see they're in that position of the field to where they're going to go for it here.
Actually, now Akers trots onto the field. I'm with you. I mean, this is a 53-yard try coming up if they do kick it, as Selleck could not make the play. Macklin was slow to get up.
Well, Dave Akers, he's a Pro Bowl kicker. He's been very steady this year, and so Andy Reid wanting to give him a chance and just come away with something positive on this drive.
From 53, Akers missed it. So Akers, who had made 24 of his last 25, trying to drill it from 53, misses wide left. Still 17-0 Dallas. 100,000 expected for this game. There's a look at the standing room only section of this new stadium, Cowboys Stadium. Best starting field position for Dallas, up 17-0, starting at their own 43. Felix Jones is brought down by Patterson. A loss of 3. Good play.
So you go back and watch the snap and hold on this kick, and at first blush you'd say, wow, he didn't get the ball held upright enough for David Akers, but that's actually the way David Akers likes it. It looked like the ball was going to hook back inside that left upright, but just misses.
Akers, who hit from 60 yards in that direction during the pregame warmups, and who had made 24 of his last 25 and is headed to the Pro Bowl, misses from 53. Now it's 2nd and 13 for Dallas. Romo setting up a screen for Felix Jones. Quentin Michael drags down Jones after a gain of 22.
Well, we kind of anticipated here in the second half that defensive coordinator Sean McDermott would bring pressure, and he did, and the Cowboys got him with the screen pass, but there is a penalty on the play.
During the run, holding, offense number 65. Penalized 10 yards to the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
Andre Girard, the center, guilty of a hold. Headed to his 4th straight Pro Bowl.
Tell you, that was set up beautifully too, because as I said, they brought the blitz, and it meant that they were then in man coverage, and if you can block the one guy who's assigned to the tailback, Felix Jones, you can get a pretty big gain, as they were able to, but it comes back because of the hold there on the center, Andre Girard.
10-10 in that important game for the Denver Broncos, trying to win to stay alive in the AFC playoff race. On 2nd down, Romo throws, and incomplete for Kraton, and again the Eagles brought pressure. It'll be 3rd down.
And we'll go back and try to see if we can see what happened. Andre Girard right there, 65 at center, and he's going to come out, and whether or not he actually gets a hold on anybody, you see him go low, and I guess when he reached up there and grabbed him as a linebacker there, Jeremiah Trotter, I don't know if he got much of a hold there or not, but with Trotter going to the ground and him reaching up to grab him, that's what warranted the call.
So it's now 3rd and 18. Romo flips it for Barber, incomplete, and what a good job by Tracy White. Sniffed out the screen, made the play, and that's the best effort so far by this Eagles defense in the game.
Well, that's what they had to have. I mean, knowing how successful Dallas had been offensively there in the first half, to come out here, the first possession for the Cowboys, and not allow them to move the football and come away with any type of points, that's the kind of effort it's going to take here in this second half if they're going to claw their way back in.
This will be the first punt for Matt McBriar. Big penalty on the hold committed by Girard. Wiped away a run by Jones and a 1st down, and now McBriar hits a big punt with Jackson waiting deep from inside the 15. And he is tripped up, and what a good play by Alan Ball. Nothing on the return after a 54-yard punt. Eagles have it after good work by their defense. Down 17. Deshaun Jackson was slow to get up. He just now got off the field after that punt return when he was wrapped up by Alan Ball on a good tackle. Dimitri Patterson was also shaken up on the play, and here's the play by Alan Ball. Meanwhile, Terrence Newman was out with a knee contusion. He's back in the ball game for Dallas, and word from their sideline is Tashard Choice is out with a concussion. 10:22 left in the 3rd quarter, and it's Westbrook for a gain of 2.
It was an awfully good job there. As you see, Deshaun Jackson. A good job there by Matt McBriar, the punter, in placing that ball. Coming into the game, this was a real concern. Field position and special teams is awfully important when you're talking about these types of ball games, and Joe DeCamillis wanted to make sure that the ball was never inside the numbers on the punts, and he placed that one perfectly, and it allowed for great coverage.
False start against Philadelphia.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
And that is Max Gene Gillis. Meanwhile, we've talked a lot about Nick Cole, an undrafted college free agent out of New Mexico State. Made the team in 2006 as a backup center. He has started 15 games this season at the guard spot, 6 at left guard, 9 at right guard. Now he takes over at center. Deshaun Jackson is back in for Philadelphia on 2nd and 13. Protection for McNabb, and he throws behind Jeremy Maclin. Maclin was wide open, and McNabb missed him. It's 3rd and 13.
Well, watch inside here. Nick Cole, 59, and the job that he does on Jay Ratliff, the all-pro nose tackle. And, you know, this was a concern, but he's locked him up right there. I mean, that is a heck of a pocket right there for any quarterback to make the throw. Time to throw the ball. Maclin wide open. And these are the throws you just got to be able to complete.
Look at Brent Selleck, who was shaken up coming off the line. He checks out on 3rd and 13. McNabb steps up and throws it into the ground with heavy pressure. DeMarcus Ware was in there for Dallas. And it's 4th down.
I think Dallas defensively has just done a heck of a job for the most part of just throwing the Eagles out of sync. You know, when they do get something going, they have a penalty that then sets them back. But they've just not been able to string together enough good plays to get anything positive going.
What a big difference maker for this Dallas defense of late has been Anthony Spencer and his progression. Here's Kraton on a hop. And he's wrapped up at the 48 by Chris Gokong. 4-yard return. Dallas with a football and a 17-point lead. The NFC East division title is on the line. The Eagles trying to win here today to clinch a first-round bye. That's not going according to plan for Philadelphia. And for Dallas, a chance to go into the postseason on a 3-game win streak.
Well, Dallas has been saying all year long this is a different team, it's a different makeup, and they like playing together, and this year was going to be different. And you wait and see in a game like this, how are they going to come out and play? And they have responded. They got off to a great start, which was real important for them, and they've played very, very well. And if they go on to win this ball game, then they get to come back next week and try to do it all over again against these Philadelphia Eagles.
And they could very well be the number 3 seed in the NFC playoff race. What's going on out in Arizona? Handoff to Barber. And Barber, what a good play by Trotter. Down on his belly, he reached up and made the tackle, and he saved what could have been a big play for Dallas.
You're not kidding. Jeremiah Trotter is on the ground and is just able to reach up, and you can see him right here in the middle. And he's going to come off, scrape off the edge, and they do a good job, Kozar does, of getting a block and getting him on the ground. And that's the tackle right there that we've seen more and more of on Marion Barber. You know, there was a time when you couldn't get him down like that, and he hasn't been able to make the first guy miss the way that he had just a few years ago.
Second down and 6, and there's Bennett right off his hands. We look at the NFC playoff picture, and the teams we know are in. Seeding is still up in the air. The Dallas Cowboys, the Arizona Cardinals, the Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, the New Orleans Saints stumbling down the stretch, and the Philadelphia Eagles, who came into this game on a 6-game winning streak. Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator. What did he dial up on 3rd and 6?
Hey, you're down. 352.
And play clock expired.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break.
10 different scenarios for the Broncos to make the playoffs after that 6-0 start, but they all begin with a victory over Kansas City. Kyle Orton hooking up with Brandon Lloyd for a 44-yard score, set up a 1-yard No-Sean Moreno touchdown, and they're tied with the Chiefs 17-all in the 3rd quarter. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
3rd down and 11. Romo just throws it in the direction of Witten. There was nothing there. Good work again by the Philadelphia defense. Cowboys started with great field position and they go nowhere.
Yeah, and the real key here, Joe, is that Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator, has started dialing up some of the blitzes that you're so used to seeing from this Eagles defense. They've come out here in the second half, and on the 2 possessions, that's what confused them. They're on 3rd down and warranted the penalty. And they're doing some things now that I anticipated them doing when we came into the game right from the start.
Back-to-back 3-and-outs for the Dallas Cowboys, and the punt sails into the end zone off the foot of McBriar. So the Eagles will start at their 20. Still down 17. .7:59 left in the 3rd quarter. The Philadelphia Eagles, who have not started a drive outside their own 20, will start this one at their 20. The defense has to feel a little better about how they've played, especially the last 2 series. And it's 17-0 Dallas, and it looks more and more like, with what's going on out in the desert, if Dallas wins, they'll be the number 3 seed. Again, if Philadelphia wins, they get the number 2 seed and a bye week. But they've got a lot of work to get accomplished before that can be a reality. Down 17-0. Handoff is to McCoy. And LaShawn McCoy picks up 4. Already has the Eagles rookie rushing record. Brady James on the stop. There's the day for McNabb. 186 yards for Westbrook. Really not much of a factor. Selleck has been the one guy. 6 catches, 94 yards.
Yeah, and Selleck just came out of the game.
2nd and 6. Underneath, it's Weaver. Started to run before he made the catch. The throw was down at his knees. And it's 3rd down.
Well, they've just not been in sync. And I know Eagle fans out there will look at all the opportunities that have been missed, and the drop balls and the penalties and the chances they had for big plays. But this Dallas defense over the last 9 games has been outstanding in limiting teams to scoring points.
It's 3rd and 6. Extra men on the rush. The ball's knocked out of the hand of McNabb and kicks right back into his belly. But it's 4th down. Knocked away by Spencer, and then it hit a foot or the ground and went right back into the gut of McNabb.
Anthony Spencer comes right around the edge there on Winston Justice.
And it hit the ground, and Eagles were very fortunate there.
It looked like Donovan had some room again. He hadn't been getting a lot of pressure in the middle, and it looked like he had some room there to step up in that pocket and help those tackles out a little bit more than he did.
Rocket hits a good punt. His best of the day, and it drives Kraton to the 21. Down the sideline, decent return by Patrick Kraton. 16 yards. Dallas has it, up 17. 6:40 left in the 3rd quarter. The Dallas Cowboys, this group of them, tired of hearing about 1996. It's the year the Dallas Cowboys last won a playoff game. It's the year the Dallas Cowboys last had a winning record after Thanksgiving in the regular season. They could do that with a win here today. Here's Barber. Gets knocked by Trotter, but Marion Barber picks up a 1st down and 14 yards.
That's where Tony Romo has gotten so good this year, is utilizing the underneath checkdowns. And Philadelphia did a nice job really covering everybody down the field, but given the time to let Marion Barber get out from protection and come underneath those linebackers and turn a simple little pitch and catch into a nice game.
Big hit by Barber. Good block after that catch by Jason Witten, who does it all at the tight end position for Dallas. 1st down. Little toss to Felix Jones. Room to run. Felix Jones still going. Felix Jones, touchdown Dallas, no flags. 49 yards and a touchdown. You saw the reaction from Jerry Jones, who said during the week, in a way, this is our first playoff game. Trying to win for the third straight time, and the Dallas Cowboys lead 24-0. After getting throttled last year in Week 17 at Philly, 44-6.
This is one of those big runs that they expect to see out of Felix Jones. He's finally healthy, and it's real simple, but good execution. But on the back end of this, Quentin Michael's in a position right there to make a play, and he just fails to come off of Jason Witten and make the tackle then on Felix Jones. And once Felix Jones breaks this tackle here, you know, he's got such great speed that even with inside-out pursuit, they're not able to get to him until he's well across the goal line. And a good job there by Doug Free, the right tackle, working all the way across the field and leading the way.
He blocked Sheldon Brown, and then Felix Jones took care of the rest. And there's Quentin Michael, the starting strong safety, who was taken out of the play by Witten. So a 24-0 score, and the Dallas Cowboys have had fun moving the ball, with the exception of the two previous times they had it. Just about every time they touched it against the Eagles defense.
I like that. Felix Jones goes right over there on the bench and sits down right next to, you know, one of the big guys, Doug Free, who helped lead the convoy into the touchdown.
So Doug Free getting his 7th straight start at right tackle. Mark Colombo, the Cowboys believe, could be back next week. Macklin takes a knee. Another touchback for Beeler. The Bull Bash continues tomorrow on Fox with the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl between Boise State and TCU, and concludes on Tuesday with a FedEx Orange Bowl game between Iowa and Georgia Tech. Bull Bash continues tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on Fox. Ole Miss won here yesterday, 21-7. Here at Cowboys Stadium. And now the Dallas Cowboys are taking it to the Philadelphia Eagles. Deshaun Jackson with 1 catch. He had 2 the first time these two teams met, for just 29 yards.
And it's not like Dallas has really done much to take him out of the picture. It really has just been a lack of execution on the Eagles' part.
They could get Bowen. Instead, they're going to say false start. Bowen came across. We saw this call earlier. See if they're going to get Bowen or if they're going to give it to the left tackle.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 72. Moving into the neutral zone to cause the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
I think that's a good call. We saw that earlier in the game with DeMarcus Ware against Jason Peters, and now it was Bowen.
Well, I think if you look at Dallas defensively right now, I mean, at 24-0, and I was talking about their play here in the last 9. Only one time in the last 9 games has the Cowboys given up more than 2 touchdowns defensively, and so right now this is not looking very good for the Eagles.
Pass underneath, caught by Westbrook, and Westbrook out of bounds just across the 35 with a gain of 10. Bobby Carpenter forced him out. For the Eagles this season, set a new team record. They beat the record that they put up last year for points scored in a season, 429. They've been shut out here today. That's how well this Dallas defense is playing. The heels of that shutout at Washington and what they did to the Saints and Chargers.
Well, that's the point. I mean, they've faced some awfully good offensive teams, and they've done a nice job of virtually shutting them all down.
More pressure, and it's Spencer. Anthony Spencer has made the biggest difference on this defense as the year has worn on, and he has now 5 sacks in his last 6 games.
Yeah, you're going to see a little bit of a twist here up front by Anthony Spencer, and because of that they turn him loose, and that's one of the things when you do have to shuffle the interior guys. Those are the things that you generally miss, and Anthony Spencer, who has been good all season long, but right or wrong, he's judged on sacks, and his first one this year didn't come until the 11th week of the season. I'll tell you, since then he has been getting after the quarterback.
McNabb on 2nd down is going to run. slides down up near the 34, a gain of 7. That's something, Troy, you talked to Anthony Spencer about. It's like a home run hitter going up, just thinking about hitting home runs as we go back to that play.
Yeah, you can take a look at Deshaun Jackson right here, and I've noticed this now on a few routes that he's been running. It just doesn't look like he's, I don't know if he's just not healthy or what exactly is going on, but sometimes if you're not one of the reads within the progression, you don't come off as hard. Nothing wrong with that, but on a number of occasions it does not look like he's been as explosive as what we're used to seeing from him.
Now 3rd down, 12. Here's Selleck underneath, and he's brought down at the 36, a gain of 2 by Skandrick.
And here's where Donovan McNabb was wanting to go to the football. They're going to run a post corner route, with Deshaun Jackson on the outside, one-on-one with Mike Jenkins, and that's a lot of respect right there on the corner. But because of the timing, Donovan McNabb didn't sense the urgency on Jackson's part, and so he ends up coming underneath. But that should have been a very easy pitch and catch by those two players.
3.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Rocca hits it. Kraton on the return. Gets around Jose Leo Hansen and then gets popped on the sideline. No flag is thrown, but the official is Joe Mays.
They were right on top of it. I'm not so sure there should have been a penalty, because if you're going to get out of bounds, you better get out of bounds. I mean, Patrick Kraton was pretty casual. Looked like he might have had one foot out of bounds and then the other foot in the field of play.
As you look at Patrick Kraton, you think of the guy who's in charge. The special teams unit. Kraton, number 2 in the NFL in punt and return average. And Joe DeCamillis, a 44-year-old, has been through just a heck of a ride during this season. A broken neck back in May, 4 fractured vertebrae as the team's indoor practice facility collapsed. Then had an emergency appendectomy last Sunday. The team was getting ready to play the Redskins, went to a Virginia hospital, watched the game there, and then flew back during the week. He's been through a lot, but he has really made a difference in the special teams for Dallas.
Well, and he sure has, and he was bestowed the highest honor by this Cowboy team by naming him the Ed Block Courage Award, and typically those just go to the players who have overcome a great deal, and he certainly qualifies as much as he has overcome, and a nice honor for him. He's done a heck of a job through some adverse situations.
Jeremiah Trotter is down and getting the attention of the trainers for Philadelphia. It's just with 4 fractured vertebrae in the neck of Joe DeCamillis, just the way he's walking around, you can tell how much pain he's in. Add to that going through a burst appendix. I mean, this year you couldn't get to 2010 quick enough for Joe DeCamillis, and now Jeremiah Trotter's able to get up and jog off the field. 2nd down and 9 for Dallas, up 24. Romo throws for Ogletree. And Kevin Ogletree, an undrafted college free agent and a rookie, good for 15 yards.
You're going to hear Tony Romo yell 56, 56. And what he's saying is that he's the Mike, and so that directs protection his way. Now the Cowboys block up at the tight end position, expecting blitz. This is just a 2-man route, and they run a double move on the outside. The Eagles don't bite, but then you've got Ogletree who comes off of that on a comeback route, and just excellent job by Tony Romo. I mean, he has really taken charge of this offense in a lot of ways. Great play, but he's been a great leader as well.
Here's Barber on 1st down, out across the 35. Here's a game break. Kurt Menefee.
From some great audio in your game to some pretty good video if you're a Chiefs fan. This is Derek Johnson, the former University of Texas star, with the interception. He returns it 45 yards, and the Chiefs up by 10 on Denver. You know the scenario, Denver needing to win and get help in order to make the playoffs. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, so a 6-0 start for the Denver Broncos, and they come in having lost 7 of their last 9.
And they put Brandon Marshall on the bench, and Tony Scheffler, and Jay Cutler thinks he's back playing with the receivers in Chicago again. Kyle Orton, I'm sorry. 2nd down and 7. Romo throws and hits Witten. Jeremiah Trotter cannot cover Jason Witten. And Witten good for 25 yards. And the offensive line has just dominated the line of scrimmage. You look at the protection that Tony Romo has afforded. I mean, that's awfully nice right there. And you know, we've spent some time talking about some of the work that Juan Castillo has had to do, the offensive line coach for the Eagles, with the changes that they've had to make due to injury. And Hudson Houck is one of the best in the business at getting his guys prepared to go out and play week in and week out. He's been doing it a long time. As the offensive line coach for Dallas, under a minute to go, 3rd quarter, in a game dominated by the Cowboys on their way to a number 3 seed in the NFC playoff picture. Here's Felix Jones. He's to the 36. That catch by Ogletree made me wonder if, as we go through the postseason, if Kevin Ogletree doesn't start to get some of the action that maybe, say, Roy Williams would get. And even though their bank accounts look a lot different, and even though the Cowboys paid a lot to get Roy Williams in a Cowboy uniform, Ogletree may be more effective right now. Well, there's no question in my mind he's more effective than what Roy Williams has been, and he's gotten more opportunities. It's going to take a little bit more, though, before you give up on a guy who you've given so much to. No catches today, 2 over the last 2+ games for Roy Williams. 2nd and 7. And underneath, there he is again. Jason Witten tripped up at the 20. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter here in Arlington. 24-0. Dallas moving in again. The NFL on Fox will continue after this from your local Fox station. Philadelphia Eagles came in with visions of a 1st-round bye, a number 2 playoff seed in the NFC playoff picture, and the way this has gone and what's happened in the desert, they would be a number 6 seed at the end of the day, unless they mount a tremendous rally. Start of the 4th quarter, 1st down for Dallas. Toss to Felix Jones, rolling to his right. No gain. We'll go back and take a look at that previous throw to Jason Witten, and you're going to see they don't jam him again. I mean, he's continually had free releases. Good coverage there by Quentin Michael, but you're going to see the ball placement by Tony Romo, and that's what allows Witten then to get the extra yards. He throws it on the back hip, the only place you can put it, to where he can make a play. So a great throw beat good coverage. And that's just the kind of relationship that he and Jason Witten have, and that's why they've been able to complete so many passes amongst them. And he now has that same kind of relationship with Miles Austin. Jason Witten, for the 2nd time in his career, is now over 1,000 yards for the season. 93 catches. Screen for Felix Jones, and nothing there. Good play by Witherspoon. A loss of 4. And it's 3rd down. It's been feast or famine on these screen plays by the Cowboys, and that's generally the case. But this time Witherspoon, he sniffs it out, and they're not able to get a body on him, and you know, he comes in on Felix Jones just at the time that he's making the catch. Well, if there's any team that should know how to defend a screen, you would think it'd be the Philly defense, with working against Andy Reid and what they do offensively in practice. They've always been so good at it with Westbrook. It's 3rd and 14. Handoff to Barber as Romo fell down, and Macho Harris is taken for a ride. A gain by Barber of 12. It's 4th down, and the Cowboys can get another look at their new kicker, Sean Sweezum. The irony of Sweezum being a Cowboy is that he missed only 3 times with the Washington Redskins, but 2 for Washington in a game here. Basically handed Dallas a 7-6 win, and then a miss at home against New Orleans, which could have ended their undefeated season earlier than it ended. Cowboys beat them to end that streak.
He was out of a job, and now after Nick Folk, who missed 7 of his last 11, was cut. Here's Sweezum, who used to be a Cowboy, and now he pulls this one wide left. So Sweezum hangs his head as he misses a 30-yarder. New guy, same result. Still 24-zip, Dallas. (24 to nothing), and now starting at the 20. McNabb and the Eagles with Westbrook split out wide to the right. McNabb has a pocket, and he hits Deshaun Jackson. Minimal gain of just 4 yards. Brought down by Orlando Scandrick. And Jackson, it was not a factor the first time these two teams met. And Philadelphia in November is really not making a dent in this one either.
And you wonder how long Andy will keep these guys in, knowing that with a loss they turn around next week and come right back here.
McNabb gets out of 1 sack. Hatcher cleans up. A penalty flag is thrown. And Jason Hatcher, who made the tackle on McNabb, did so without his helmet on. We'll check the flag. It's against Philadelphia.
I think that just proves it's a little different mindset to play defensive line in the NFL. Most people would be hiding for cover, if your helmet comes off, not Hatcher.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 62. The penalties declined. It's a 3rd down.
And I guess Hatcher was on the receiving end of that, and he was. It was Max Gene Gillis who knocked his helmet off, and Hatcher ended up making the play.
Yeah, he came right back in there and led head first.
3rd down and 14. That's the 4th Cowboys sack of the game. McNabb for Macklin, underthrown and knocked away by Jenkins.
Well, if there was any thoughts that maybe Deshaun Jackson wasn't 100% healthy, he just proved that on that route. This is a straight go route, or excuse me, Jeremy Macklin. He's a straight go route right here, and he goes right by Mike Jenkins. And Donovan McNabb, the ball came out just a little bit funny and wasn't able to get it out there far enough for him. But we talked about it coming into this game, how important it was going to be for the Dallas Cowboys to not give up big plays, and they have done a good job in that regard.
Rocca with his 6th punt. Patrick Kraton. Penalty flag flies. So this is coming back. There's a block in the back. Just when Kraton started to get some room to move. 52-yard punt. And a 15-yard return will be called back.
During the return, illegal block in the back. 89 the return team. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's John Phillips with a block in the back. Cowboys have the football. And they've had all the fun. Up 24-0. Interesting side note as we go through the rest of this game. Tony Romo, the only quarterback to take snaps for the Dallas Cowboys this season. He finishes this game taking every snap as opposed to Kitna coming in. He'd be the first quarterback for the Cowboys to accomplish that feat. Here's Felix Jones over the left side, but I think you bring up a good point really on each side. I mean, it's 24-0. Cowboys will run some clock here, try to whittle it down, and this will be a matchup that will happen again next week in the playoffs in this stadium, it appears.
Yeah, and another game, and then for Dallas, assuming they go on to win, then they had swept them in the regular season, and then to turn around, I mean, it's hard enough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, but to beat them twice in 2 weeks, I mean, that's it'll be interesting then to see what these coaches decide to do here real quick.
Romo goes down, and that's the last thing the Cowboys want to see is Romo on the ground. Mike Patterson in there to make the play, a loss of 4 on a sack, and that's the first Eagles sack of the game. That's how well Tony Romo has been protected here today against what is usually the fierce pass rush of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and you know, if these two teams do play again next week, I think we'll see what the Eagles did here in the second half. We'll see them start that way in the second half. And you know, in talking with Dallas, they anticipated a little less blitzing than what they had seen from Philadelphia in the first game. But I know that they were not anticipating that there would be only 5 blitzes in the entire first half.
3rd and 15. Romo trying to set up a screen, nothing out there, and now it's 4th down, and Romo is laying on the ground. And he's able to get up and limp away.
I think Jerry Jones is on the bat phone right now down to Wade Phillips and saying get him out of the game.
It's an earpiece, evidently. It's Bluetooth bat phone.
But let's see exactly what happened. It looked like it came down low on him.
Oh, well, he got a late hit.
Was this the way he landed on his back, or?
Here's Jackson. Jackson's forced out near midfield. Orlando Scandrick made the play, and here is the end of that little screen. It was Clemens with a shot to Romo, and he got up limping. So the Eagles have it, down 24. Tony Romo is up and limping around. We were here earlier in the year when the Cowboys took on the Washington Redskins, and Romo left that game briefly with an issue with his low back.
Well, he just grabbed the hat and pointed at John Kitna and said, "You're in."
Out of the shotgun, it's McNabb, who gets away from Spencer and is able to throw it away. You know, you and I came on the air today, Troy, talking about, with a look at the NFC playoff picture, who was the hottest team heading into the final weekend of the regular season, then the playoffs. We both thought Philadelphia with a 6-game winning streak, and now with what's happened here today, maybe it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I think you'd have to say it is. I mean, really, and I thought that coming into this game would determine then, you know, who was the hottest team as you go into postseason.
Here's Westbrook, and he gets nothing, brought down by Bowen.
But the one thing about it, and it's been discussed, and these players in Dallas understand it, that this is a nice accomplishment to win the NFC East. Not easy to do. Competitive division. But now they have to come back next week in a playoff game and win their first playoff game in a long time. And if they fail to do that, then it certainly will take away from what they did here today. And the Eagles, that's not area they're unfamiliar with. Last year as a number 6 seed, they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game.
They're headed to a number 6 seed again, as on 3rd and 10, McNabb throws down the middle off the left hand of Avant, and incomplete. It's 4th down.
And I'd be real surprised if we see Donovan McNabb or a number of these players any longer in the second or in the rest of this ball game.
And when you think about this division, this will be the 13th time in the last 18 years that either Dallas or Philadelphia has won the NFC East. The Eagles have not been shut out in their last 68 games, and in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, they have never had back-to-back shutouts. That's how well this defense is playing. Coming off a shutout in Washington and taking on a team that set a franchise scoring record with 429 points in the regular season. Is Romo coming back? Dallas with the ball. For the Dallas Cowboys, it's been 6 straight playoff losses dating back to 1996, the year they won their last playoff game. Then 98, lost to the Cardinals, 99 to the Vikings, 2003 to the Panthers, 2006, that Seattle game, and then in 2007 when they were a 13-3 regular season team and a number 1 seed, losing to the eventual Super Bowl champion Giants. That for Tony Romo was his first full year as starter. Had taken over in '96 for Drew Bledsoe. Here's Barber. And Barber is out just shy of the 15-yard line. We go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, there's some very tense moments for a while there as Tony Romo tried to loosen up that back. He has what they're calling a back strain. John Kitten has not even gotten up to warm up yet, so we'll see how long he goes. Back to you.
All right. And I think I'm speaking for a lot of people when I say I'm surprised to see Tony Romo back out there right now.
Well, I'm real surprised, and I won't be too surprised if all they do is hand the ball off. But I can assure you this team's going nowhere without number 9.
Second and 7. Play action. Romo steps up and down the middle, hits Miles Austin, who has a first down, so they're still throwing it. Here's a game break, and Kurt Menefee.
And Chris Johnson is still running it on this 4-yard run. The Tennessee running back becomes the 6th player in NFL history to gain 2,000 yards rushing in a single season. He's got 134 on the day, officially 2006. Congratulations to Chris Johnson. By the way, in that game, Seattle's on top 13-10. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt wipes away my man Earl Campbell off the top of that list.
Well, hey, congratulations to him. What a heck of a season he has had, and well earned. I mean, that is, people talk about a 1,000-yard season. That's not what it once was, but 2,000 yards now, that's unbelievable.
Here is Felix Jones looking for somewhere to go, and he ends up losing 3. Quentin Michael there to make the stop. First guy there was Foku. You think about the Dallas Cowboys and where they were even the last time they went into the playoffs. They won the division in 2007. They started that year 12-1, but they ended the year losing 2 of their last 3. They had the bye week. That was the Tony Romo's in Cabo week, and they come back and lose to the New York Giants. I showed you that last play, the interception thrown to McQuarters at the end of that game. This is a team now with a hot quarterback and a defense that's playing some of the best football in the NFL. Second down and 12, and Marion Barber is thrown down by Darren Howard. Penalty flag on the play.
Holding. Offense number 65. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Another one on Gerard.
Now you talk about Wade Phillips and what they've been able to do since he took over as head coach. He's won 66% of his games, but he knows as well as anybody what the standard is. I thought he had a good line though when he said that when they talk to him about not having won the big game, he said they only call them big games when you lose, and there's a lot of truth to that. And coming into this ball game, this was regarded as a big game. And so he needs to win the biggest game, and he certainly needs to win a game in January. But this is a nice win for Wade Phillips and his Cowboy organization.
Phillips, who was 0-4 in his career during the postseason as a head coach. And now Romo throws, pass caught by Witten. And Witten is out just shy of the 25-yard line. So Romo will head into the playoffs personally 0-2. And his head coach, Wade Phillips, will head into the playoffs 0-4, and Romo, even at the end of that little dump-off pass, took a shot to the back.
Well, and you talked about it, some of the injuries that he has had, and he's had to nurse his way through. He had the ribs earlier in the year. He had a contusion to the back, so that becomes a problem, and he is moving very gingerly. And like I say, I mean, they don't need me to tell them. I mean, they are acutely aware of the fact that they're not going to do what they want to do without Tony Romo.
Romo throws and hits Patrick Kraton, who's had a big game. It just got bigger as he's down inside the 45. 32 yards after going around Jose Leo Hansen.
Patrick Kraton, this is where he's really good in the slot. Not the fastest guy, but he's got excellent quickness in and out of the break, and good job there. And that's an area where they had some success the last time these two teams met, and they're able to make another good play there to Patrick Kraton.
We welcome in a new audience joining us here. It was a battle for the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys have been in control since the beginning. First possession got it into the end zone, and now Romo hands off. That's Felix Jones, who's been busy here today. And we go through a recap. The Eagles had in front of them a chance for a win and a first-round bye. That won't happen. Jason Witten got the first points. Patrick Kraton got the second touchdown for Dallas. Field goal mixed in, a red zone turnover by the Eagles. A missed field goal try by Akers, and then a 49-yard touchdown run by Felix Jones. And it's 24-0 as the Dallas Cowboys will be the number 3 seed. Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles, the number 6 seed, and these two teams will have a rematch here next weekend. Felix Jones plows his way to the 35. And we look at the record, Troy, over the last 3 games for these teams headed to the playoffs. In New Orleans, to that 13-0 start, they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, today's I don't think meant too much, but there's some real concerns, and they've got to get healthy. And you talk about Dallas. I think right now Dallas is exercising some demons from last year. That loss that they took in Week 17 to Philadelphia, it had a lasting impact on them, and they felt that they were able to overcome that to a certain degree in the win at Philadelphia earlier in the year. But they're hoping that after this win they can put that entirely to bed.
Marion Barber on third down gets nothing. Don't forget we have the OT presented by Lowe's after our action here in Arlington. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy bring you exclusive interviews, extended highlights, and a look ahead to next week's action in the playoffs. America's #1 post-game show, the OT, presented by Lowe's, coming up after the game only on Fox. And the largest video board in captivity has gone dark here in Arlington. In fact, all of the scoreboards are out. There's been a power outage. Maybe Jerry stepped on the plug or something.
That's the first time I've seen Jerry Jones stand up today. That will get your attention.
Now it's back on. It's probably a switch in the luxury by the owner's box. What does this switch do?
Who hit the switch? It does get awfully dark when that thing goes out, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's 4th down. Romo's still out on the field. You talk about, by the way, last year's 44-6 win for Philly at home over Dallas in Week 17. The Eagles started this day with 9 different starters than the team that played against Arizona in the NFC Championship game. In the last game last year for Dallas, Terrell Owens was let go. Pac-Man Jones gone. Greg Ellis gone. Tank Johnson. All those players gone. And this is a Dallas team that's been saying we're better than we have been. We're tired of hearing about 1996. And after losing their first 2 games of December, they're on their way to their 3rd straight victory and rolling into the playoffs.
Yeah, and like I said, this win feels good for Dallas to win the division, to have won the division 2 now of the last 3 years. And either way, they were going to be coming back and playing next weekend. But the Eagles, as I said, even though last year is the number 6 seed, they went on to the NFC Championship games. Teams have gone to the Super Bowl, out of the number 5, out of 6 spot. But it's obviously much harder to do. But what a missed opportunity by Philadelphia, knowing coming into this ball game, if we win a game, we get a bye week and the number 2 seed. And considering how some of those other teams that you mentioned, New Orleans, Minnesota, how they're playing, that would have positioned them awfully well.
It's 4th down. And Romo has to buy some time, and down he goes. Tap down. The Eagles will take over. Jaquay Parker back there to tap down Romo after he lost his footing, and the Eagles have it with 2:20 left. And the way it'll stack up, New Orleans will be the number 1 seed. Minnesota will be the number 2 seed. They're off next weekend. Dallas is the number 3 seed. Arizona number 4. Green Bay, then Philly number 6, and it'll be Philadelphia here at Dallas. Green Bay at Arizona. And don't think this isn't a big deal to Jerry Jones, who we keep showing the owner's box, to get another home game here in his new stadium next week. And if you're the number 3 seed, it's not crazy to think you might get another before the Super Bowl if you're lucky enough to make it that far. .220 left. McNabb still in the game. And it's Macklin on the catch, out of bounds with a Philadelphia first down.
Well, the way this thing is seeded out, as you said, Joe, you're right. I mean, as the number 3 seed, it's not unrealistic to think that there's a real good chance that you wind up getting, a game back in Dallas. The way, to go back, all we can go off of is how teams have played up to this point. Dallas clearly playing very good football here over the last 3 weeks. Prior to this game, Philadelphia had been. New Orleans, there's some concern. Minnesota came back, played well, but they haven't been hitting on all cylinders either.
Now McNabb's trying to avoid a sack. Penalty flag is thrown. Looks like a hold, and Avant drops the football. And it is a hold against Philadelphia, and a lot of the starters, including McNabb, still in the game. Even though these two teams will meet next week.
Holding. Offense number 29. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
I mean, when you see Donovan McNabb scrambling around, as we've seen Tony Romo scrambling around in a game that's 24-0, and you've got a playoff game coming up next week, I don't understand the point why McNabb or Romo still in the ball game. Doesn't seem worth it.
Well, I agree. I mean, Andy Reid's been at this a long time, as has Wade Phillips. I mean, there's got to be some reasoning behind it all. But as I said about Tony Romo, well, same holds true with the Eagles. They're not going anywhere without Donovan McNabb either.
McNabb, who missed 2 games earlier in the season as Kevin Cobb showed what he could do. McNabb missing games with broken ribs. We're at the 2-minute warning in Arlington. All smiles for the Cowboys, who are on their way to the NFC East title. Emmitt Smith hugging Jerry Jones with John Daly in front. Where's the rest of John Daly? How much weight has he lost? What's going on in the owner's box? They are hugging and wearing hats that say NFC East champions, as McNabb is flushed out of the pocket and throws it away. As this defense, this defense for Dallas wants back-to-back shutouts, something the Cowboys organization has never accomplished in its history. 3rd down and 11 for Philadelphia.
Well, hey, we talked about the job that they have done, and teams move the ball on them. It's not like they're an overly dominant defensive group and nobody can move the football, but teams just are not scoring. I mean, when teams start getting near the red zone, and as far as not giving up big plays, they are awfully good, and they've made it hard on some of the top offensive teams here in recent weeks to put points on the board.
McNabb guns it over the middle on 3rd down, and the pass is incomplete. Selleck had it for a moment and lost it.
I'll tell you, they're going to have to get that part of their game fixed here in the next 7 days, because there have been a number of drops, and then they have failed to, as we've pointed out, the big plays. And if you're going to throw the ball the way the Philadelphia Eagles do, if you start dropping the ball, then you're not going to have any success, and that's been the case here today.
Certainly our producer Richie Zients, our director Rich Russo. I want to thank our entire crew. A lot of people doing double the work, working the Cotton Bowl here yesterday at Cowboys Stadium and staying on to help us cover this one between the Eagles and the Cowboys. It's now 4th down and 11. McNabb airs it out. Macklin downfield, and it's incomplete. Cowboys take over on downs. Jenkins was there defending for Dallas.
It looked like Macklin was looking at Hamlin, and Hamlin was looking at Macklin. Of course, Jenkins is in coverage, but right there, Macklin's looking at the safety the entire way. He's not even trying to make a play on the ball. That makes it even tougher to catch it when you're not looking at it.
Well, his eyes were on Hamlin the entire way. And Jenkins Finishes off another strong day. Deshaun Jackson. With just 2 catches in the first meeting and just 2 catches here in the second meeting. And the Dallas Cowboys, who had lost their last 9 regular season finales, will snap that with a kneel down. Romo will take every snap at quarterback for the Cowboys this year. First Cowboys quarterback to accomplish that feat. And Wade Phillips just won a big one, with a bigger one coming next week against the same team, the Philadelphia Eagles.
And for both these coaches, whether it's Wade Phillips or Andy Reid, especially Wade Phillips, I mean, after this win, he'll enjoy it tonight, and then he'll go back to the office and watch the film and be asked all the questions that they all get asked, and they got to come back and try to do it all over again a week from now.
Need one more kneel down before the end of this game. Romo will finish this day 24 of 34, 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception on a deflection. Felix Jones 15 carries, 91 yards, a touchdown. 14 carries, 91 yards for Barber. Austin 90 yards. Witten 76, a touchdown, and Kraton a 99-yard day with a touchdown. And this Dallas defense allowed just 228 yards by what has been a high-scoring Philadelphia Eagles offense. Cowboys win the NFC East. They're the number 3 seed. With the playoffs starting next weekend. We'll take a break. We'll come back and then get you to the OT after this.